Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something simple yet transformative, the changes you can make right now that will shape a better future for yourself. We often wait for the perfect moment to improve our lives, but the truth is the perfect moment doesn't exist. The power is in what you decide to do today. The first change is take full responsibility for your life. Stop blaming circumstances, other people, or past mistakes. When you take responsibility, you reclaim control. Your future is no longer dictated by chance. It's shaped by the choices you make every day. Second, develop a growth mindset. Life will always challenge you, but it's your mindset that determines whether challenges become obstacles or opportunities. See failures as lessons, not as setbacks. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And watch how every challenge becomes a stepping stone toward your future. Third, prioritize your time wisely. Time is your most valuable resource, yet we often squander it on things that do not align with our goals. Identify what truly matters to you and protect it fiercely. This is not just about being busy, it's about being intentional with every hour, every minute, and every choice. Fourth, surround yourself with positive influences. The people you spend the most time with shape your thinking, habits, and even your aspirations. Seek out mentors, peers, and friends who inspire growth and challenge you to be better. Negative influences will quietly limit your potential if left unchecked. Fifth, invest in your personal growth. Read, learn, practice new skills, and expose yourself to ideas beyond your comfort zone. The world is changing faster than ever, and continuous learning is no longer optional. It's essential. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge transforms lives. Sixth, embrace discipline and consistency. Talent alone won't lead to success. Consistent effort over time, even when it feels tedious or inconvenient, compounds into extraordinary results. Small, disciplined actions today create massive outcomes tomorrow. Seventh, practice gratitude and reflection. Take time each day to reflect on what you have, what you've achieved, and what you are learning. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance and gives clarity on the next steps toward improvement. Eighth, focus on health and energy. Your body and mind are the tools you will use to create your future. Prioritize sleep, movement, and nutrition. Without a healthy foundation, even the best plans and intentions will falter. Ninth, step out of your comfort zone. Growth rarely happens within safe boundaries. Challenge yourself to take risks, face fear, and expand your limits. Every step into the unknown builds resilience and opens doors to opportunities you could never imagine. Finally, 10th, define your purpose and live intentionally. Ask yourself why you do what you do and what impact you want to make. Purpose fuels motivation and guides every decision. When you align your actions with your purpose, you not only achieve more, you live more fully. These 10 changes are not abstract concepts, they are actionable steps. The question is not whether you can make them, but whether you will. Every choice you make today sets the foundation for your tomorrow. Start now, your future depends on it. 5 keynotes of the speech: take full responsibility for your actions and choices to regain control over your future. Cultivate a growth mindset by viewing failures as opportunities for learning. Manage time intentionally and surround yourself with positive, growth-oriented people. Commit to discipline, consistency, and continuous personal development. Define your purpose and live intentionally, stepping out of your comfort zone to maximize potential. Taking full responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward building a better future. Yet, it is also one of the most overlooked principles in personal growth. Many people spend their lives blaming circumstances, the environment, or other people for their current situation. They point fingers at the economy, the system, their upbringing, or their peers, convincing themselves that external factors are the primary reason for where they are in life. While these external factors do influence us, they are not the ultimate determinants of our destiny. The moment you recognize that you are the architect of your own life, everything begins to shift. Responsibility is not about self-blame or guilt. It is about empowerment. It is about acknowledging that your choices, your actions, and your mindset directly shape the life you lead and the future you create. When you take responsibility, you stop being a passenger in your own life and start being the driver. You stop waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap and begin actively creating them. You stop hoping circumstances will change and start making deliberate decisions to steer your life in the direction you desire. Taking responsibility means that you examine every area of your life and ask yourself hard questions. Where am I holding myself back? What actions have I been avoiding? What truths have I been unwilling to face? It means acknowledging both your successes and failures with honesty. You cannot control everything in life, but you can control how you respond, and that response is what ultimately defines the trajectory of your journey. One of the critical aspects of taking responsibility is recognizing the power of your choices. Every decision you make, whether conscious or unconscious, sets off a chain reaction. Choosing to wake up earlier, choosing to spend time learning instead of scrolling through social media, choosing to approach challenges with curiosity instead of frustration. These choices, small as they may seem, compound over time. Life is the sum of your choices, and the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can start aligning your daily actions with the future you envision. Excuses may feel comforting in the moment, but they only delay progress and keep you trapped in cycles of stagnation. Taking responsibility also requires a shift in mindset. It is not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It is about owning both your successes and your failures. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. And every mistake is a chance to improve. When you accept responsibility, you stop playing the victim and start becoming a problem solver. You stop focusing on why something cannot be done and begin asking how it can be done. This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and challenges into stepping stones toward growth. Responsibility empowers you to see yourself not as a passive observer of life, but as an active participant shaping your destiny. Another important element is accountability. Taking responsibility means holding yourself accountable for your actions and decisions even when no one else is watching. It is easy to meet external expectations, but the real growth happens when you hold yourself to higher standards and consistently evaluate whether your actions align with your goals. This self-discipline strengthens character, builds trust in your own abilities, and creates momentum. Over time, the habit of taking responsibility becomes a framework for all other aspects of life, influencing relationships, career, health, and personal growth. It is essential to understand that taking responsibility does not mean doing everything alone. It means acknowledging your role in your life's outcomes and seeking solutions rather than placing blame. It allows you to ask for help, collaborate with others, and still maintain ownership of your results. People who take responsibility are proactive. They anticipate challenges, plan ahead, and take initiative. They do not wait for circumstances to change. They change themselves first. They understand that growth begins internally, and external conditions are only reflections of the choices they make within. Finally, embracing responsibility builds resilience. Life will inevitably present difficulties, setbacks, and disappointments. Those who blame others often feel powerless and defeated. Those who take responsibility feel empowered and capable. Responsibility gives you the ability to adapt, persevere, and overcome because you recognize that while you cannot control every event, you can always control your response. When you internalize this principle, fear and hesitation diminish, confidence and clarity grow, and the future becomes something you actively shape rather than passively endure. Taking full responsibility is not a one-time decision, it is a daily commitment. It is a mindset that transforms how you perceive challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. It shifts the focus from circumstances to internal control, from blame to ownership, from hesitation to action. The life you desire, the goals you dream of, and the person you aspire to become are all within reach the moment you accept that you hold the power to create them through your choices, actions, and relentless accountability. Cultivating a growth mindset is one of the most transformative actions you can take for personal and professional success. A growth mindset is the understanding that abilities, intelligence, and skills are not fixed traits, but can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. People with a fixed mindset believe that their talents and intelligence are static, that they are born with a certain level of ability, and that failure defines them. This perspective limits growth, keeps individuals trapped in comfort zones, and prevents them from realizing their full potential. In contrast, a growth mindset empowers you to embrace challenges, see failure as a teacher, and continuously evolve into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. One of the fundamental aspects of a growth mindset is the way you perceive failure. Failure is often seen as something to avoid at all costs, something that defines your limits and exposes your weaknesses. People who fear failure tend to shy away from opportunities, refuse to take risks, and remain stagnant in situations that no longer serve them. But when you adopt a growth mindset, failure is no longer a verdict on your abilities. It becomes a stepping stone, a signal that you are pushing your limits and learning in the process. Each failure carries within it the seeds of growth. Every mistake, every setback, and every unexpected outcome provides valuable insight into what works, what doesn't, and how you can improve. Viewing failure as an opportunity for learning requires self-awareness and honesty. It demands that you analyze your actions, reflect on your decisions, and ask critical questions. What could I have done differently? What lesson can I take from this experience? How can I apply this knowledge moving forward? This process of reflection transforms obstacles into feedback and setbacks into valuable information. The key is not to dwell on the negative aspects of failure, but to extract the lessons that will guide your next move. In this way, failure becomes a necessary part of progress rather than a roadblock. A growth mindset also encourages embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. Challenges are uncomfortable, and growth is rarely found in the comfort zone. People with a fixed mindset often avoid difficult tasks because they fear that failure will reveal their limitations. Those with a growth mindset, however, see challenges as opportunities to expand their skills, test their limits, and gain confidence through effort. Every challenge you face and overcome strengthens your abilities and reinforces the belief that you are capable of learning, adapting, and succeeding. This perspective transforms how you approach difficult situations, allowing you to persist where others give up. Another essential element of cultivating a growth mindset is persistence and resilience. Success rarely comes in a straight line. It requires repeated effort, experimentation, and adaptation. Individuals with a growth mindset understand that setbacks are part of the journey, not a reflection of their worth or potential. They are willing to put in the work, make adjustments, and continue striving even when progress seems slow. This resilience comes from the understanding that growth is a process, not an event. Every challenge, mistake, and temporary failure is part of a larger learning trajectory that ultimately leads to mastery and achievement. A growth mindset also influences how you perceive feedback and criticism. Constructive feedback is not a personal attack, but a valuable tool for improvement. When you cultivate this mindset, you actively seek feedback, listen without defensiveness, and implement changes that enhance your skills and performance. Feedback becomes a resource, a guide that accelerates growth rather than a judgment to be feared. By remaining open to learning from others, you expand your perspective and gain insights that might have taken much longer to discover on your own. The mindset you choose shapes not only your abilities, but also your overall approach to life. When you adopt a growth mindset, your potential is no longer defined by circumstances or innate talent. It is defined by your willingness to learn, adapt, and persevere. You begin to see every situation as an opportunity to grow, every mistake as a lesson, and every challenge as a chance to improve. This perspective fosters creativity, innovation, and continuous improvement because it encourages experimentation and values effort over immediate perfection. In every area of life, career, relationships, health, and personal goals, the growth mindset becomes a framework for progress. It enables you to embrace uncertainty, overcome setbacks, and continuously develop skills that expand your capacity for success. By viewing failures not as endpoints, but as opportunities for learning, you create a life defined by growth, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of your potential. The commitment to a growth mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities, challenges into learning experiences, and the journey itself into a continuous path of self-improvement. Time is one of the most valuable resources we possess, yet it is also the most misunderstood and often mismanaged. Every person is given the same 24 hours in a day, yet how we use those hours determines the trajectory of our lives. Prioritizing your time wisely is not about doing more things, it is about doing the right things. It is about understanding that every moment is an opportunity, and every choice about how to spend that moment either moves you closer to your goals or pulls you away from them. Many people live their lives reacting to whatever comes their way, filling their days with task obligations and distractions that ultimately do not serve their purpose or long-term vision. The first step in prioritizing your time is to recognize that not everything deserves equal attention, and that the most successful individuals are those who allocate their time intentionally toward what truly matters. The ability to prioritize begins with clarity about your goals and values. If you do not know what you want, it becomes impossible to determine what deserves your focus. Successful people spend time reflecting on what is most important to them, what they want to achieve, who they want to become, and the impact they wish to create. Once clarity is established, it becomes easier to differentiate between tasks that are urgent but not important and those that are important and truly meaningful. Many people fall into the trap of being busy rather than productive. They react to emails, notifications, and small, seemingly urgent matters, leaving little time for the actions that generate significant results. Prioritizing your time wisely requires resisting these distractions and committing to what drives meaningful progress. Another critical aspect of time management is learning to say no. Every yes is a trade-off. Saying yes to something that does not align with your goals means saying no to something that does. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others or missing out on opportunities. However, each commitment you make consumes time, energy, and focus. The ability to say no to non-essential activities is a defining trait of successful individuals. By protecting your time, you create space for the work, relationships, and personal growth that truly matter. Saying no is not selfish. It is a recognition that your time is valuable, finite, and essential to your future. Time prioritization also involves planning and organization. It is not enough to know what is important. You must structure your day in a way that ensures those priorities receive attention. Successful people often plan their days in advance, breaking tasks into actionable steps and allocating specific time blocks for focused work. This approach minimizes wasted time and reduces stress because it provides a clear roadmap for the day. Planning your time allows you to focus on high-impact activities, eliminate distractions, and maintain a sense of control over your life. Equally important is the understanding that time is not just about quantity, but quality. Being present and fully engaged in the task or activity at hand maximizes the value of every moment. Multitasking and constant partial attention reduce effectiveness and increase mental fatigue. When you prioritize wisely, you dedicate uninterrupted time to what matters most, whether it is strategic work, learning, creative pursuits, or meaningful relationships. High-quality focus amplifies results, accelerates progress, and creates momentum in all areas of life. Prioritizing your time also requires reflection and evaluation. Regularly assessing how you spend your hours, identifying what adds value and what consumes energy without benefit, allows you to adjust your approach continually. Many people drift through life without evaluating whether their daily activities align with their long-term objectives. By pausing, reflecting, and realigning, you take control of your time rather than letting it control you. This conscious approach ensures that your actions are purposeful, intentional, and directed toward your desired outcomes. Finally, prioritizing your time wisely fosters discipline and consistency. It creates a habit of focusing on what truly matters, resisting distractions, and committing to long-term goals. This habit compounds over time, generating results that far exceed the efforts of those who merely work harder without direction. The way you use your time today directly shapes your future. Every deliberate choice, every focused effort, and every intentional action adds up, creating momentum that propels you toward the life you aspire to live. By recognizing the finite nature of time, clarifying your priorities, saying no to non-essential activities, planning your days effectively, and dedicating focused energy to meaningful tasks, you take control of your life. You shift from being reactive to proactive, from being busy to being productive, and from drifting through days to intentionally crafting the future you desire. Time is the foundation upon which success, growth, and fulfillment are built, and prioritizing it wisely is the single most effective way to ensure that your life moves in the direction you truly want. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a profound impact on your life far beyond what most of us realize. Human beings are inherently influenced by their environment, and the company we keep shapes our thoughts, habits, beliefs, and ultimately our potential. If you spend your time with individuals who are negative, complacent, or unmotivated, their mindset and behavior will subtly and sometimes unconsciously influence you. Conversely, if you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, disciplined, and growth-oriented, you are more likely to adopt those same qualities. The people around you can either lift you higher or hold you back, and understanding this is essential for anyone striving to create a better future. Choosing the right influences is not about being selective or elitist. It is about protecting your energy and aligning your environment with your goals and values. Positive influences come in many forms. They can be mentors who provide guidance and insight based on experience, peers who challenge and encourage you, friends who support your ambitions, or even communities that foster personal and professional growth. These individuals inspire action, accountability, and consistency. They help you see possibilities that you might have overlooked and push you to step outside your comfort zone. When you surround yourself with such people, their energy, discipline, and mindset become contagious. You begin to internalize their habits, thought processes, and resilience, and over time, you transform into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. It is also important to recognize that influence is not always overt. Often, it is subtle and accumulates over time. A colleague's positive attitude, a mentor's consistent dedication, or a friend's relentless optimism may seem small in isolated moments, but the cumulative effect of being around such individuals can be transformative. Their behaviors and attitudes become reference points for your own actions. You begin to model success, adopting patterns that lead to higher achievement and personal fulfillment. Conversely, being surrounded by negativity, cynicism, or complacency can slowly erode motivation, confidence, and ambition. The influence of your circle is powerful because it shapes your worldview, your sense of what is possible, and your willingness to take risks. Another critical aspect of surrounding yourself with positive influences is accountability. Growth-oriented individuals hold themselves and others accountable. When you are part of a circle that encourages discipline, focus, and persistence, you are more likely to stay committed to your goals. Peer pressure in a positive environment becomes a catalyst for action rather than a source of distraction or conformity. You are inspired to do better because you see others doing better, and you learn that success is not just theoretical, it is achievable through consistent effort, learning, and perseverance. Accountability partners, mentors, or even small groups of like-minded peers can dramatically accelerate your growth because they provide both support and constructive challenges. Choosing positive influences also requires discernment and boundaries. Not everyone is capable of inspiring growth, and some relationships may need to be limited or ended to protect your progress. This is not a reflection of judgment or arrogance. It is a recognition that your time, energy, and mindset are valuable resources. Being deliberate about who you allow into your inner circle ensures that your environment consistently aligns with your aspirations. Negative or toxic influences can drain your energy, distort your perspective, and diminish your belief in your potential. By consciously selecting the people who impact your life, you create a supportive ecosystem that fuels motivation, creativity, and resilience. Exposure to diverse perspectives within a positive environment also promotes growth. Engaging with people who challenge your assumptions, provide constructive feedback, or introduce new ideas helps expand your thinking. Growth is rarely linear, and learning from others who have walked different paths accelerates your understanding, decision-making, and ability to adapt. Positive influences encourage curiosity, inspire experimentation, and create a culture of continuous improvement. They motivate you to push beyond limits, try new approaches, and develop skills that might have otherwise remained dormant. Finally, surrounding yourself with positive influences reinforces self-belief. When you are in an environment where people encourage growth, celebrate achievements, and model perseverance, you internalize the idea that your goals are attainable. Confidence builds because you witness success in others and receive support and guidance along the way. This environment nurtures resilience, determination, and a mindset oriented toward opportunity rather than limitation. The people you choose to engage with daily shape not only your actions, but also your identity, your habits, and the level of ambition you are willing to pursue. By consciously surrounding yourself with individuals who inspire growth, you set a standard for yourself and create an environment that fosters long-term success and personal transformation. Investing in personal growth is one of the most impactful choices you can make for your future. Personal growth is not just about accumulating knowledge or acquiring skills. It is about continuously evolving into a better version of yourself, expanding your potential, and preparing yourself to handle the challenges and opportunities that life presents. Many people underestimate the importance of dedicating time, effort, and resources to themselves. They focus on external achievements, such as promotions, possessions, or recognition, without realizing that the foundation for lasting success lies within personal development. When you prioritize learning, skill development, and self-improvement, You create the tools necessary to achieve your goals, adapt to change, and navigate uncertainty with confidence. Learning is the cornerstone of personal growth. Life is constantly changing, and the skills or knowledge that were sufficient yesterday may not be enough tomorrow. By committing to continuous learning, you keep yourself relevant, adaptable, and competitive. Learning can take many forms: reading books, attending workshops, taking courses, listening to experts, or even observing others who've achieved the results you desire. Every piece of knowledge you acquire broadens your perspective, provides new strategies for problem solving, and enhances your ability to make informed decisions. People who consistently invest in learning develop a mindset that embraces curiosity, exploration, discovery. They understand that knowledge is not static but dynamic, and the pursuit of understanding is a lifelong endeavor that directly contributes to personal and professional growth. Skill development is another crucial component of personal growth. Knowledge alone is not sufficient. It must be applied effectively. Developing skills, whether technical, interpersonal, creative, or strategic, enhances your ability to execute ideas, overcome challenges, and create value. Skills allow you to translate knowledge into tangible results. For example, learning about leadership is valuable, but developing the skill to inspire, communicate, and guide a team is what produces real-world impact. Similarly, acquiring financial literacy, problem-solving techniques, or digital competencies equips you to navigate complex situations and capitalize on opportunities. The more skills you develop, the more versatile and capable you become, increasing your confidence and expanding the range of possibilities available to you. Self-improvement goes beyond learning and skill acquisition. It involves enhancing your mindset, habits, and emotional intelligence. Personal growth requires introspection, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, and working intentionally to address limitations while amplifying your capabilities. This may involve improving time management, cultivating discipline, enhancing communication, or developing resilience. Emotional intelligence is particularly critical as it enables you to navigate relationships, handle stress, and respond thoughtfully in challenging situations. By investing in self-improvement, you strengthen the internal foundation that supports all external achievements. Without this foundation, knowledge and skills alone may not translate into meaningful progress or fulfillment. Investing in personal growth also requires consistency and commitment. Growth is not instantaneous. It is the result of repeated effort, reflection, and application over time. Small intentional actions compound, creating significant transformation. Setting aside dedicated time for learning, practicing skills, and reflecting on personal development ensures that growth becomes a habit rather than a sporadic effort. Many people fail to see the results immediately and give up too soon, but those who persevere develop a cumulative advantage that separates them from the majority. The compounding effect of continuous self-investment is profound. It shapes your abilities, character, mindset, and ultimately the trajectory of your life. Another important aspect of personal growth is embracing challenges as opportunities to improve. Growth rarely happens within comfort zones. By confronting difficult situations, seeking feedback, and experimenting with new approaches, you accelerate your development and uncover untapped potential. Challenges force you to adapt, think creatively, and develop resilience, all of which are essential components of long-term success. People who invest in personal growth actively seek out these experiences rather than avoiding them, knowing that discomfort is a catalyst for learning and transformation. Personal growth is also an investment in your future autonomy and freedom. The more knowledge, skills, and emotional intelligence you acquire, the more control you have over your life. You become capable of creating opportunities rather than waiting for them. You gain the ability to navigate change, adapt to new circumstances, and make decisions that align with your goals. This investment compounds not only in your career, but in your relationships, health, and overall well-being. It builds a foundation that allows you to live intentionally and shape the life you desire rather than react passively to circumstances. Ultimately, personal growth is the process of expanding your potential and preparing yourself to seize the opportunities life presents. By committing to continuous learning, skill development, and self-improvement, you equip yourself with the tools, mindset, and resilience necessary to achieve meaningful success and fulfillment. The time and effort you invest in yourself today will pay dividends for the rest of your life, creating a trajectory that moves steadily toward your goals, aspirations, and a future defined by your choices, capabilities, and personal mastery. Every choice you make today shapes the life you will live tomorrow. Taking responsibility, cultivating a growth mindset, prioritizing your time, surrounding yourself with positive influences, and investing in your personal growth are not just isolated actions. They are interconnected principles that create momentum toward a better future. When you own your actions, you reclaim control over your destiny. When you see challenges as opportunities to learn, you unlock your potential. When you focus your time on what truly matters, you make every moment count. When you choose the company of people who inspire and uplift you, you elevate your standards and aspirations. And when you commit to continuous learning and self-improvement, you ensure that you are always evolving, ready to meet the demands of life with confidence and capability. The future is not something that happens to you. It is something you actively create. It begins with the decisions you make right now, the habits you form today, and the mindset you cultivate in every situation. Every small step, every disciplined action, every intentional choice compounds over time into extraordinary results. You have the power to shape your path, to build a life of purpose, fulfillment, and achievement. The question is not whether you can make these changes, but whether you will take action today. The moment you decide to implement these 10 powerful changes, you start moving toward a future that reflects your highest potential. The time to begin is now, because your better future starts with the choices you make today.